si neuvedomovali, že vlastne robia niečo
Those who
zlé.
had the rank of the high priest at the time period of Christ and even before he came the first time,
To sa stalo,
were no men who God had chosen for this holy work.
neboli to muži, ktorých Boh povolal.
Who could have become a high priest?
Kto sa mohol stať veľkňazom?
Could have somebody of the tribe of Judah become the high priest?
Mohol sa niekto z kmeňa Judovho stať veľkňazom?
No, only Levites.
Nie, iba Leviti,
And also only those from the family of Aaron.
ktorí boli z Áronovej rodiny.
So do you think they kept this law?
Myslíte, že dodržiavali tento
Yeah,
zákon?
for sure.
Určite.
Because it's written only a Levite can become the high priest.
Lebo je napísané, že len Levita môže byť veľkňazom.
But yet still these people or these men were completely misbehaving themselves.
Ale aj tak stále títo ľudia
Let's continue the
boli ako veľmi skazení, zle sa chovali.
They were desiring, because of love to power, that they wanted to have this kind of job position.
Pretože milovali moc, chceli mať túto pozíciu.
They were looking, or they wished for a position of authority where they were clothed in Frömmigkeit. No, in consecration probably would be the good word. And they could betray people without being entdeckt.
Túžili mať pozíciu autoritu a mohli sa zle chovať k ľuďom bez toho, aby im niekto niečo urobil.
The high priest had a position of power and significance.
Veľkňaz mal pozíciu moci a
He was not
významnosti.
just a counselor and mediator, but he was also judge.
Nebol iba poradca a
And against his
prostredník,
decision, there was no veto, so to speak.
ale aj sudca. A tu nebolo žiadne veto v jeho pozícii.
The priests were restrained in their authority by the Romans, and they
Kňazi,
could not kill anyone.
kňazi mali
So that was
svoju
the restriction they had.
autoritu obmedzenú Rímanmi.
People with wicked hearts
Nemohli nikoho zabiť a ľudia so skazenými srdcami
looked for the position of a high priest,
sa chceli stať veľkňazom
and they often gained it through what?
a získali to skrze čo?
Through murder and bribery.
Skrze vraždu a podplácanie.
Let's continue.
Poďme pokračovať.
So this is just the next paragraph in the quote.
To je ďalší odstavec. Židovský národ tak zvrátil svoje
The
náboženstvo,
Jewish nation had perverted their religion through meaningless ceremonies and traditions.
skrze
And that's the logical consequences.
bezcenné ceremonie a zvyky.
When the leadership gains its position by murder,
Keď,
what do you expect how they treat the people?
keď vedenie získa
And that way
pozíciu
the entire
skrze,
religion changed.
skrze vraždu, čo myslíte, aký to bude
This
mať
was
dopad
a
na
heavy
ľudí?
burden for the people,
Toto bolo pre ľudí
especially for
ťažké
the poor
bremeno,
people.
zvlášť pre chudobných.
On top of that, they were slaves in slavery to the Romans.
Tiež boli
And they had
vlastne
to pay taxes.
otroci voči Rímanom a museli
problem.
im platiť dane.
The Jews were not willing to accept slavery,
Oni nechceli prijať otroctvo
and they were looking forward to the victory of their nation by the Messiahs,
a tešili sa,
the mighty deliverer,
kedy ich národ vyslobodí Mesiáš,
which was prophesied in prophecy.
ten mocný záchranca, čo bol v proroctve.
In a few presentations I will be having something, I'll expect something.
Za pár prezentácií budem niečo očakávať.
you have to consider yourself or look. You have to consider the life of a Jewish person.
Musíte zvážiť život židovského človeka.
Wir können diese Zitate nicht nach 2000 in der Rückschau von 2000 Jahren anschauen.
We cannot look at these quotes by saying, "Oh, we're 2,000 years after that."
My nemôžeme sa na to pozrieť, že už sme 2000 rokov potom.
Parminder already mentioned it yesterday.
Parminder už včera spomínal,
In 2 years ago, how big was the Bible? 2,000 years ago, how big was the Bible?
že pred 2000 rokmi, aká veľká bola Biblia?
Only 5 books.
Mala len 5 kníh.
Not
Nie.
5 books and what?
A ešte?
It was also the prophets were included.
A k tomu boli proroci?
The New Testament didn't exist at that time.
Nový zákon vtedy neexistoval.
And then, as Parminder said it, it's only letters.
Ako Parminder povedal, to boli iba listy.
We have to imagine ourselves in their position.
Musíme si predstaviť, že sme v ich pozícii.
We cannot just consider these things 2,000 years after the things they happened.
Nemôžeme len zvážiť tieto veci 2000 rokov potom, jak
If we
sa to
understand in
stalo.
what position or in what situation the Jews were,
Ak rozumieme, v akej situácii boli Židia,
that they were oppressed by the Romans,
že boli utlačaní Rímanmi
and then suddenly they're looking for this deliverer,
a zrazu hľadajú záchrancu,
it's quite logical. It's human.
to je logické, je to ľudské.
Look at the nations today. When there's a nation being suppressed by another nation, you see that push or that wish for freedom.
Pozrime sa na tie národy dnes, ktoré sú
And
utlačené.
if then somebody says, "Here, somebody comes,
Ak vtedy niekto povie, že
and he
niekto
will
príde
deliver us from all of this,"
a zachráni nás z tohto všetkého,
people accept that. They like that.
ľudia to príjmú, sú z toho šťastní.
And we see that in our own nation today.
Vidíme to v našom národe dnes.
Look at the radical tendencies that the people are taking now.
Pozrite sa na tie všelijaké radikálne
Let's
sklony.
continue in the quote.
Poďme pokračovať.
Their mindsets or their understandings were in a narrow way.
Ich porozumenie bolo takým úzkoprsým spôsobom.
How many groups are there in Adventism?
Koľko skupín máme v
I'll
adventizme?
just say it in a general way.
Poviem to takým
We have
všeobecným
right wing,
spôsobom.
we have a left wing.
Pravičiarov, lavičiarov.
and then who is looking like this? The conservatives
Konzervatívny,
liberals.
liberálny.
She says here, their opinions were conservative.
Ona tu hovorí, že ich názory boli konzervatívne.
They thought that he who would come, when he would come, he would receive kingly honor, and with force and weapons he would remove the oppressors and sit on the throne of David.
Oni si mysleli, že ten, ktorý keď príde, dajú mu kráľovskú poctu a mocou a armádou si podriadí tých
If they would have
utlačateľov.
studied the prophecies with a humble mindset and with spiritual discernment, they would have not believed in such error.
Keď by študovali proroctvá s pokornou myslou a s duchovným rozlíšením,
Is it
nikdy by
wrong
neprišli
what
k takému
Pharisees
omylu.
told the people? Why is it wrong for the Pharisees to tell that there comes a deliverer?
Prečo to je zle, že farizej povedali, že prichádza záchranca?
Okay, worauf ich hinaus will, ist, das, was die Pharisäer erzählt haben, war nicht falsch.
Where I'm heading to is that the Pharisees, what they had said, told the people was not wrong.
To, čo farizei povedali ľuďom, to
There
nebolo
was just a problem with the timing.
nesprávne, len to bolo nesprávne načasovanie.
Weil hier heißt es weiter, und ich sage das selber, hätten sie die Prophezeiung richtig studiert,
In the quote here, and I'm paraphrasing now, if they would have studied the prophecies correctly,
Ja teraz parafrazujem to, čo sa tu písalo, ak by správne študovali proroctva,
beim zweiten Kommen,
then they would have noticed that this glorious coming would have been at the second coming.
tak by vedeli, že tento slávny príchod je až druhý príchod.
But the first coming was predicted that it would occur in a very humble fashion.
Ale že ten prvý príchod mal byť veľmi pokorný.
Prophezeien unterscheiden, die auf das erste Kommen Christi hinwiesen und denen, die sein zweites ruhmreiches Erscheinen beschrieben.
And then Ellen White says here that they could not discern the prophecies between the first coming, which was quite humble, and his second coming, which was very glorious.
A potom Ellen Whiteová tu hovorí, že nevedeli rozlíšiť tie proroctvá
They
medzi
could not discern between those different prophecies.
medzi tým slávnym príchodom a medzi tými
And in a
pokorným
general way,
príchodom.
we are in the exact same situation today.
My sme v tej istej situácii dnes.
Ein anderes geht da weiter, Paragraph 14 vom 17. Dezember.
Now we're in paragraph 14 of the same passage.
Teraz sme na odstavci 14 tej istej pasáži.
The notice of his birth was carried to the heavenly city, so to speak.
Keď sa Pán
I have
Ježiš...
to step back a few steps, sorry.
Pardon, vrátim sa.
Wurde Christus in einem Stall geboren.
As the time was fulfilled, Christ was born in a shack.
Keď sa naplnil čas, Kristus sa
And
narodil v
he
maštali
was laid into a crib,
Umgeben von den Tieren des Stalls.
surrounded by the animals of the shack.
a bol
And now here comes now the significant sentence.
obkolesený zvieratami. A teraz tá dôležitá veta.
You had expected a deliverer who delivers you from the Romans, and
Očakávate
this child in
záchrancu.
this crib
A teraz toto
is he
zvieratko,
really God's
teda
son.
toto dieťa medzi zvieratkami, toto je naozaj Boží
That is
syn.
so similar as other infants.
Veď vyzerá ako ostatné bábätka.
So the message of his birth was carried to the heavenly city,
Posolstvo o jeho narodení sa nieslo do
and at the same time,
nebeských
the
miest.
important men of this earth didn't know anything of it.
A tí dôležití ľudia na tejto zemi o tom nevedeli nič.
The proud Pharisees and scribes, with their hypocritical ceremonies,
Pyšní farizei a
didn't know
zákonníci
anything about the child of Bethlehem.
so svojím povrchnými
I have it in red
ceremoniami
here. I think you'll see it on the screen.
a dodržiavaním zákona nevedeli nič o bábätku z Betlehema.
Wie erscheinen würde.
They didn't know the fact how he would come.
Nevedeli, ako mal prísť.
Unsere Studien zeigen auf,
Aj keď všetko poznali, mali tú múdrosť, poznali zákon,
Our
proroctva.
studies showed that the Son-in-law will come, or that it already has come. However,
Naše štúdia ukazujú, že
what's
už
our problem?
prišiel nedeľný zákon a že prichádza. Jaký je náš problém?
What is difficult for us at the moment?
Čo je pre nás také ťažké teraz?
wie es aussieht.
How is it coming? How
Ako-
does it look like?
Ako prichádza? Ako to má vyzerať?
Sie waren auf die Offenbarung des Messias völlig unvorbereitet.
They were unprepared for the revelation of the Messiahs.
Boli nepripravení na zjavenie Mesiáša.
Nächster Absatz, das gleiche Absatz.
Same passage still.
Ihre
Tá istá pasáž.
erhabenen Vorstellungen vom Kommen des Messias entsprachen nicht den Prophezeiungen, von denen sie behaupteten, sie könnten diese dem Volk auslegen.
Their proud expectations of the coming of the Messiahs didn't meet the same expectations as the prophecies had, because they thought they could give the people basically their version.
Ich pýcha a očakávania sa nestretli s tou
They were
realitou.
spiritually blind and they were leaders of the blind.
Boli
And
duchovne
who's spiritually
slepí
blind?
a boli
Which
vedúci
church?
slepých, viedli slepých. Kto je slepý?
Laodicea.
Laudicea je slepá.
That's evidence for that the Jewish people at the time period of Christ were Laodicea.
To je dôkaz toho, že Židia v tomto čase boli Laodiceou.
Leben Jesu, Seite 29.4.
Now we have Desire of Ages, page 29, paragraph 2.
Teraz máme túžbu vekov, 29.
Aber sie hatten dennoch keine richtige Vorstellung von seiner Aufgabe.
Wo bist du? 4 hast du gesagt, du hast 2 gesagt. It's paragraph 4, not 2.
Je to štvrtý
While the Jews
odstavec.
desired the advent of the Messiah, they had no true conception of his mission.
Aj keď Židia po príchode Mesiáša túžili o jeho poslaní, nemali správnu predstavu.
Actually, we're walking here in a chronological fashion through the Desire of Ages.
Ideme teraz chronologicky cez túžbu vekov.
And I think from now on, we only have Desire of Ages quotes.
Teraz už budem používať len túžbu vekov.
So we are here at the very beginning. It's page 29.
Sme na začiatku strany 29.
Sie wussten, dass der Messias kommt.
It's interesting to see that the Jewish nation, they knew that Christ was coming.
Je zaujímavé vidieť, že Židia
We know that
vedeli,
the Son-in-law is coming.
že Kristus prichádza. My vieme, že prichádza nedeľný zákon.
We know everything, whatever happens on our line.
Všetko poznáme, čo sa deje na tej našej línii.
But we don't have an actual knowledge of how it will come.
Ale nemáme to poznanie toho, ako to príde, ako sa to stane.
30.1 Zitat, das haben wir quasi schon gelesen.
Page 30, paragraph 1, and we basically already read that.
30. strana, to sme už čítali.
Page 30, paragraph 2 is interesting again.
30. strana, druhý odstavec.
Ich glaube, das habe ich schon mal markiert. They had studied the prophecies. Yeah.
Hass auf die Römer,
Hatred of the Romans,
Nenávisť voči
and
Rímanom,
national spiritual pride,
národná a duchovná pýcha,
national and spiritual pride,
národná a duchovná pýcha, viedli Židov k prísnemu lipnutiu
led the Jews still to adhere rigorously to their forms of worship.
na bohoslúžobných formách. Kňazi sa úzkostlivým dodržiavaním náboženských
The priests
obradov
tried to maintain a reputation of sanctity
snažili udržať úctu k svetosti na vysokej
by
úrovni.
scrupulous attention to the ceremonies of religion.
das bedrängte und in geistlicher Finsternis lebende Volk,
The people in their darkness and oppression,
Ľud žijúci v temnote a útlaku
and the rulers thirsting for power,
i vládcovia dychtiaci pomoci očakávali príchod toho, ktorý
longed for
premôže
the coming of the one who would vanquish their enemies and restore the kingdom of Israel.
ich nepriateľa a Izraelovi
Now the important
vráti
thing
kráľovstvo.
Weissagungen hatten sie erforscht.
They studied the prophecies,
Skúmali síce proroctvá, ale bez duchovného
but
chápania.
without spiritual insight.
Bez duchovného chápania. Náhľadu.
Thus they overlooked those scriptures that point to that humiliation of Christ's first advent
Tak prehliadli výroky písma, ktoré hovorili o poniženosti
and
Kristovho prvého
misapplied
adventu.
those that speak of the glory of his second coming.
A nesprávne pochopili tie, čo predvídali slávu jeho druhého príchodu. Pýcha im zatemňovala výhľad.
Pride obscured their vision. They interpreted prophecy in accordance with their selfish desires.
Proroctvo si vykladali podľa svojich sebeckých
The
túžob.
important point I would like to emphasize here
Dôležitý bod, ktorý tu chcem vyzdvihnúť,
is that the Jews were not as, they had more knowledge than we think they had.
je, že Židia mali viac poznania, ako si
They
myslíme.
did very nicely every morning their worship.
Každé ráno mali pobožnosť
They kept the law.
dodržiavali zákon.
Problem ist, wie lese ich die Schrift?
The problem they had was, how do you read scripture?
Problém, ktorý mali, bolo, že ako budeme čítať písmo.
Und jetzt kommt das nächste Interessante.
And the next very interesting thing,
Ďalšia veľmi zaujímavá vec,
page 32, paragraph 3.
32. strana.
Das Volk wurde diesem Umstandes irgendwann leid.
The people grew tired of that condition.
Ľudí už to unavilo, tento
The
stav.
following happens now.
A stalo sa toto.
Sicher unter römischer Knechtschaft.
The people are oppressed by the Romans,
Ľudia boli utlačení
and the
Rímanmi,
Romans were Gentiles.
pohanmi.
Heidentums auf das Volk relativ stark.
Therefore, the influence of heathenism was quite strongly on the people.
Takže ten vplyv pohanov bol dosť silný na ľudí.
Die Umwelt keinen Einfluss auf die Juden damals hatte. Es wäre töricht zu denken,
It would be foolish to think that the surroundings didn't influence the Jewish nation at that time.
Bolo by bláznivé si myslieť, že to okolie neovplyvnilo židovský národ v tom čase.
der Einfluss des Heidentums auf das Volk nahm.
At this time, the systems of heathenisms were losing their hold upon the people.
V tomto čase pohanské systémy strácali svoj vplyv na ľudí, ktorých už unavila okázalosť a prázdnota ľudských výmyslov.
Men were weary of pageant and fable. They longed for a religion that could satisfy the heart.
Dychtivo túžili po náboženstve, ktoré by uspokojilo srdce.
Von den Menschen gewichen.
While the light of truth seemed to have departed among men,
Aj keď sa zdalo, že svetlo pravdy už ľudí
there were
opustilo,
souls who were looking for the light
predsa sa našli takí, čo v zmetku a
and
zármutku
who were
hľadali
filled with
svetlo.
perplexity and sorrow.
Túžili po poznaní živého Boha a po istote večného života.
They were thirsting for a knowledge of the living God,
Keďže sa Židia boli smední po
and
poznaní
for some assurance of a life beyond the grave.
a po istote života záhrob.
Interesting that they were thirsting for some kind of assurance of a life beyond the grave.
Zaujímavé, že oni vyslovene smedili
In the next
za
paragraph,
istotou života po
Ellen
smrti.
White says there,
Ďalej Ellen Whiteová hovorí,
as the Jews had departed from God,
ako Židia odišli od
faith
Boha,
had grown dim,
tá viera
and hope had
vyhasla
well nigh ceased to illuminate the future.
a
The
nádej
words of the
prestala
prophets were
osvecovať budúcnosť.
uncomprehended.
Und dem größten Teil des Volkes war der Tod ein schreckliches Geheimnis.
To the masses of the people, death was a dread mystery.
Aber in dem ganzen Mischmasch
But
Pre,
in all of this mixture,
pre množstvo
mess.
ľudí smrť bola neistotou a temnotou.
auf einmal nach einer wahren Religion Ausschau zu halten.
the people start to watch out or look for a religion, a true religion.
V tomto chaose ľudia začali hľadať skutočné náboženstvo.
Dieses ganze System quasi satt.
They are tired, they're grown tired of that system.
Už boli unavení z tohto systému.
Dass sie das Recht haben, nach was Neuem Ausschau zu halten.
And they had this one evidence that they were allowed to look for this new thing.
Mali jeden dôkaz,
Can you maybe imagine what kind of evidence that was?
že mohli hľadať túto novú vec. Viete, aký to bol dôkaz?
34.3.
This is Desire of Ages, page 34, paragraph 3.
Toto je 34 strana.
Besonders aber belebten sie die Worte des sterbenden Jakob.
The dying words of Jacob filled them with hope.
Und was hat Jakob?
Nádejou ich naplňali slova
And what
zomierajúceho
did
Jakoba.
Jacob prophesy about Israel?
Čo Jakob prorokoval o Izraeli?
Mose 49, Vers 10.
Genesis 49, verse 10.
Es wird das Zepter
Genesis 49.10.
bis dass der Held komme und
Nevzdiali sa berla od Judu, ani
The scepter shall
veliteľské
not
žezlo
depart
od
from
jeho
Judah,
nôh,
nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come.
dokiaľ mu nepríde pánovník, ktorého národy budú poslúchať.
auf etwas Neues offen.
And what is now the evidence that gave the Jewish nation hope that there's coming something new
Aký je ten
in
dôkaz
connection with this quote?
toho, že prišlo niečo nové?
Tatsache der dahinschwindenden Macht
Čo ich usvedčovalo o tom, že prichádza niečo nové?
The warning of the power is that the Messiah. The warning power of Israel. The waning
Chabnúca moc,
power of Israel testified that the Messiah's coming was at hand.
Chabnúca moc Izraela svedčila o skorom príchode Mesiáša.
Their evidence was that look at the condition we're in.
Ich dôkaz bol,
We're dependent on the Romans.
pozrite sa na ten stav, sme závisí na Rímanoch,
Our entire condition is miserable.
náš stav je
It
hrozný,
won't be worse anymore.
už to nemôže byť horšie.
We will read another quote where we will see that there were uprisings.
Budeme čítať iný citát, kde
In
uvidíme,
other words, in modern language,
že tam sú povstania.
there were there were wild demonstrations,
Boli rôzne demonštrácie násilné,
violent demonstrations, which the Roman just cut down.
ktoré Rímania zastavili.
But this all was evidence for them
Ale toto
that their
všetko,
power was waning.
toto všetko bol pre nich dôkaz, že
Now they have
ich
this
moc,
Bible verse.
ich moc chabne. A majú tento biblický verš,
There it's written that we are a great nation.
kde je napísané, že sú veľkým národom
And this gave them hope that something has to happen now.
a to im dávalo nádej, že sa musí niečo stať.
The interesting thing is,
Zaujímavá vec je,
page 33,
strana 33,
paragraph 1.
prvý odstavec.
That God, if it doesn't work inside within his nation, that he works from outside.
Keď Boh nemohol pracovať vnútri svojho ľudu, tak pracoval zvonku.
Outside of the Jewish nation, there were men who foretold the appearance of a divine instructor.
A mimo židovský národ boli muži, ktorí
These men were
predpovedali,
seeking for truth, and to them the spirit of inspiration was imparted.
teraz neviem presne, kde číta.
One after another, like stars in the darkened heavens, such teachers had arisen.
Povstávali učitelia jeden za druhým.
The words of prophecy had kindled hope in the hearts of thousands of Gentiles.
Proroctvo
Gentile word.
dávalo
To whom was
vieru,
the gospel given?
proroctvo vieru dávalo tisícom pohanom. Komu bolo
The
dané
Gentiles-
proroctvo? Pohanom?
Aber warum kam Gott? Oder, falsche Frage. Zu wem sandte Gott seinen Sohn?
To whom did God send his son?
Komu poslal Boh
To
svojho
his
syna?
people.
Gehen wir mal zu Ezekiel 3.
Let's turn to Ezekiel 3.
Poďme pozrieť do Ezechiela 3. Už som našla, čo sa čítalo. O tom, že povstávali mimo židovského národa mnohí učitelia, ktorí verili v prorocké
And there
slova.
we read verses 4 to 7.
Ezechiel 3,
Ezekiel 3, verses 4 to 7.
Ezechiel 3, 4 až 7.
Menschensohn, geh hin zum Haus Israel und rede zu ihnen mit meinen Worten.
And he said unto me, Son of man, go and get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them.
A riekol mi, synu človeka, vojdi k domu Izraelovmu a budeš im hovoriť mojimi slovami, lebo nie si poslaný k ľudu hlbokých
For thou
rtov,
art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of a hard language, but to those of the house of Israel.
a ťažkého jazyka, ktorých slovám by som nerozumel, lebo som ťa k tým poslal, ty by ťa istotne poslúchali, ale dom Izraelov, nie.
Not to many people of a strange speech and of a hard language, whose words
Pardon.
thou canst not understand. Surely had I sent thee to them, they would have had hearkened unto thee.
Som preskočila, lebo nie si poslaný k ľudu hlbokých rtov a ťažkého jazyka, ale k domu Izraelovmu. Ezechiel 3, 4 až 7 čítame.
So God sends his message
Takže
to his people, also to the Gentiles, but he especially to his people.
Boh posiela svoje posolstvo svojmu ľudu, aj pohanom, ale zvlášť svojmu ľudu.
Because we can read from the quote that the Gentiles, they knew that somebody was coming, and the Jewish nation, they just had some ideas about it.
Pohania vedeli, že niekto mal prísť a Židia mali o tom len nejaký takú nejasnú predstavu.
And in Ezekiel, we read that the Jewish nation will not understand or accept, but if he would have been sent to another nation, they would have understood and accepted.
A v Ezechielovi vidíme, že keby to posolstvo bolo poslané iným národom, tí by to prijali, ale židovský národ to nepríjme.
Since hundreds of years,
Už stovky rokov
the scriptures had been translated into the Greek language.
sa písmo prekladalo do gréckeho jazyka.
Back then, widely spoken throughout the Roman Empire.
Tým sa vtedy hovorilo v rímskej ríši.
So the gospel was translated into the common language.
Evanjelium bolo preložené do toho bežného jazyka.
Where did the Jews live everywhere?
Kde Židia všade
Where did they
žili?
live in the Roman Empire?
Kde žili v rímskej ríši?
Everywhere.
Všade.
The Jews were scattered everywhere, and the expectation of the Messiah's coming was to some extent shared by the Gentiles. Now there comes an interesting sentence.
Židia, medzi tými, ktorých Židia nazývajú pohanmi, boli jednotlivci s hlbším poznaním prorockých výrokov Mesiášovi, než aké mali izraelskí
That something
učitelia.
will happen, that Christ comes, and then the following happens.
Deje sa teraz?
Among those whom the Jews styled heathen were men
Medzi tými, ktorých Židia
who had
nazývali pohanmi, boli jednotlivci s hĺbším poznaním prorockých výrokov o
who had a better
Mesiášovi,
understanding of the scriptures' prophecies
než aké mali
concerning the
sami
Messiah
izraelskí
than had the
učitelia.
teachers in Israel.
Niektorí dúfali, že príde ako osloboditeľ, ktorý ich vyslobodí z hriechu.
So they didn't understand even his coming correctly, but also what his work was.
Oni nielen nerozumeli správne jeho príchodu, ale tiež tomu, že čo bolo jeho dielo.
There were some who hoped for his coming as a Wo bist du damit denn? War es gleich danach, oder? Okay, so they expected to have a Messiah or a deliverer of the Romans.
Niektorí dúfali, že príde ako osloboditeľ, ktorý ich
Who
vyslobodí
is
z
they
hriechu.
who Ellen White addresses in this passage?
Kto to sú tí, o ktorých tu Ellen Whiteová
With
hovorí?
they, she means those who have a better understanding.
Tí, čo mali lepšie porozumenie,
So they, the heathens,
takže oni,
they expected a Messiah,
tí pohania, očakávali Mesiáša,
which was to deliver them from sin.
ktorý ich mal vyslobodiť z hriechu. Pohania toto
So
očakávali.
that means that the heathens had a correct understanding of Christ.
Pohania mali správne
What,
porozumenie Krista.
What comes to my mind at the moment?
Čo prichádza do mojej mysle? Teraz
We have a prophetic gospel, right?
máme prorocké evanjelium, áno?
We don't have a moral gospel.
Nie morálne evanjelium.
To whom do we have to go to learn about moral things?
Za kým musíme ísť, aby sme sa naučili o tých morálnych veciach?
Moralapostel. So let's be honest. We as Adventists were not the moral standard.
My ako adventisti nie sme morálnym štandardom. Meškáme, ja
I'll
meškám.
include myself. I don't want to.
Budem hovoriť o sebe.
Yeah. We're too late. We tell our brethren, oh, you can do this for free for me. We're siblings. We're brethren.
S našimi bratami a sestrami jednáme. A toto sprav zadarmo, však sme súrodenci.
This is not. Entschuldigung. Pardon me. I thank you accusation against anyone.
Ja nikoho neobvinujem.
When you only get to present for 1 hour, then you present for 2 hours.
Keď máte prezentovať 1 hodinu, ste tam 2 hodiny.
If you
Nikoho
have 1
neobvinujem.
hour to speak,
Máte 1 hodinu,
and after that the microphone will be shut out.
potom sa vypne mikrofón už.
Please don't take it personally.
Prosím vás,
I'm not even accusing Brother Parminder.
neberte to osobne, ja nemyslím teraz nič na brata Parmindra.
But I said that to you at the beginning. We have to imagine or put ourselves in their position.
Ale ja som vám povedal, skúsme sa dať do ich pozície.
The heathens know how to handle these things better than we do it.
Pohania vedia
And now
lepšie,
the
ako
worst comes.
tieto veci robiť, ako my.
Philosophers endeavored to study into the mysteries of the Hebrew economy.
Myslitelia sa snažili preniknúť do tajomstva židovských dejín, no fanatizmus Židov nepripúšťal rozšírenie svetla.
Lucky that they started to look into the mysteries of the Hebrew economy and not the morality, otherwise things would have gone wrong.
Dobre, že sa snažili preniknúť do
Now
tajomstva
a sad
židovských
sentence
dejín
comes.
a nie morálky, lebo by to všetko išlo zle.
But the bigotry of the Jews hindered
No
the spread of the
fanatizmus
light.
Židov nepripúšťal rozšírenie svetla, doslovne bigotizmus. Nie fanatizmus, doslovne bigotizmus. V snahe zachovať priepas medzi sebou
Intent on maintaining the separation between themselves and other nations, they were unwilling to impart the knowledge they still possessed concerning the symbolic service.
medzi sebou a inými národmi neboli ochotní poučiť ich o
The
symbolickej
true
bohoslužbe.
interpreter must come, the one whom all the types prefigured must explain their significance.
Musel prísť pravý vykladač, ten, ktorý bol sám zmyslom všetkých tých predobrazov, musel
I
vysvetliť
think
ich
this is a
význam.
good point where we can close.
Tuto by som to chcel uzavrieť.
I would like to point out,
Chcel by som ukázať,
for me, it's important that we look at this experience
pre mňa je dôležité sa pozrieť na túto skúsenosť,
because too many people in this movement base their decisions upon feelings.
pretože príliš veľa ľudí
We
v
sit
tomto
in the
hnutí
presentations
sa
and say,
založilo
this is truth
svoje rozhodnutia na pocitoch.
because it's my feeling tells me so.
Sedia, pozerajú a hovoria si,
And
toto je
on one
pravda.
way, that's good.
To mi hovorí môj pocit. No na jednej strane to je dobré,
Because we'll see tomorrow in 2 days that the disciples had the same experience.
uvidíme, že učeníci tiež mali takúto
But at a certain
skúsenosť.
point, they had to shut down their brain
Ale prišiel
and
bod,
had to follow their feeling,
kedy museli
completely go against their mind
zamknúť svoju myseľ a ísť podľa toho, čo
in order
cítili,
to, again, at a certain point, turn on their brain
aby v nejakom bode znova
to look
zapli svoj
back.
mozog, pozreli sa späť
and to explain what they actually had done.
a vysvetliť to, čo vlastne urobili.
And I think if you're part of this
Ak
movement,
ste súčasťou tohto hnutia,
I think you have to do the exact same thing.
myslím, že musíte spraviť tú istú vec.
At a certain point, you have to follow your feeling.
V určitom bode musíte ísť podľa
I
pocitu,
think this is interesting.
alebo že jej, toto ma
I will
oslovilo.
listen a little bit more careful here.
Ešte budem to viac počúvať.
And you have to turn off your brain when your pastor comes and says, oh, this is all foolishness.
A musíte si zapnúť mozog, keď príde kazateľ
You
a
have
povie,
to keep going in faith.
toto je bláznostvo. A musíte ísť
And
ďalej
at
vo viere.
one point, you have to, comes a point
A príde bod v
where you
určitej
have to
chvíli,
turn on your brain again.
kedy si musíte zase zapnúť mozog
And then you have to prove why certain things were right or wrong, which you have done.
a musíte vedieť dokázať, prečo určité veci sú správne
And
alebo
I personally,
nesprávne.
in closing,
Ja osobne, v závere,
methodology
tá metodológia
is the point where we have to turn on our brain again.
to je ten bod, kde musíme zapnúť mozog.
And all these lines which Brother Parminder is drawing,
A tieto linie, čo kreslí
It's
brat
not
Parminder, nie je to jednoduché.
Wir sind alle, ich gehe jetzt mal davon aus, wir sind alle mit dem Gefühl gefolgt, sagen, hier ist etwas, was ich sonst nirgendwo höre.
but I think we all followed that feeling that we are hearing something here we don't hear anywhere else.
Ale myslím, že máme pocit, že to, čo počujeme tu,
And now
nepočujeme
comes
niekde
the
inde.
evidence why we are correct.
A teraz, prečo je to pravda?
But let's not forget where we're coming from and what kind of burden we have on our shoulders.
Ale nezabudnime na to, odkiaľ prichádzame a aké máme bremeno na našich ramenách.
The Jews were the disciples were growing up in a context or in a surrounding where the leadership was murdering people.
Oni vyrastali, učeníci, v prostredí, kde vedenie zabíjalo ľudí.
I'm not going to apply it in that way now in our time period, but of course, as Seventh-day Adventists, we have pre-knowledge, which can be a burden, but also good.
Aj my ako adventisti máme bremeno
And then I think we shouldn't be too hard with ourselves.
a nemali by sme byť na seba príliš tvrdí.
Because how often did Christ teach something to the disciples?
Ako často Kristus niečo učil učeníkov?
In this mind, we'll continue with this morning studies.
V tomto budeme pokračovať s týmito
And
štúdiami.
let's kneel down for a word of
Poďme
prayer.
sa pomodliť.
Father in heaven, we want to thank you for the
Drahý-
new
dra-
year you have given us.
Drahý nebeský Otče, ďakujeme Ti za nový rok, ktorý si nám dal.
I want to thank you also that we can experience a new morning.
Ďakujem Ti za to, že môžeme prežívať nové
Experience
ráno,
your word.
študovať Tvoje slovo.
Please be with us. Please guide us today.
Prosím, buď s nami, ved nás,
Give us a good fellowship.
daj nám spolu dobré
That we
spoločenstvo,
always exalt one another.
aby sme jeden druhého
And
vždy
we also thank you for the food.
pozdvihovali a ďakujeme Ti aj za jedlo.
And we ask you for your Holy Spirit that He is among us today.
Prosíme ťa o Ducha Svätého, aby bol medzi nami dnes. Ďakujeme Ti.